Right, ladies and gents, today we're going to do a little bit of a OEM versus
Skunkworks
aftermarket comparison.
Yeah, but the only place we've found to sell the other parts is Skunkworks.
Yeah.
And you don't even sell all the parts, so
and
we're only going to go over the ones that we can obviously source from both.
Yeah, and when we messaged on the forum to see if the Skunkworks bits were any good, we were getting mixed messages. We didn't really know.
Well, nobody actually said, listen, I've used these, they're wicked, and everybody, all the other people.
Or vice versa. I've used them
70% of the owners club were like, you've got your bloody Atom, Atom are the one, we love Atom.
Which we are repairing it with
Yeah, we're going to use Atom parts, but we just thought, while we're doing this, we might as well just, because there are people going to be out there that have these cars, they may not want to spend an extra £120 or whatever it is on an arm because they think, well, hang on, I'm keeping it, I'm not bothered, so we'll go with that one.
Or, like we said, if you were struggling, say if Ariel didn't have it in stock and you wanted to get back out on the track day and stuff you had booked, you could book a order a Skunkworks arm, get that in fitted until the Ariel part came. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just little things like that.
Yeah, so we'll go through the experience with Ariel and Skunkworks, and we'll just tell you the situation. We'll compare the parts. You know, there's probably not going to be much in it, but any differences we'll show you.
I'm going to do loads of work today because it's -3.
Yeah, it is cold.
Let's have a look.
And the other thing, what you was going to say, Jack, Skunkworks do some aftermarket stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot of carbon parts that you can't get from Ariel, which they've gone and moulded themselves.
Yeah.
So if you wanted extra carbon, Atom don't even do certain parts in carbon, but Skunkworks do.
Yeah.
So you might want that.
Yeah.
But we'll go and compare these parts we've got anyway, and we'll see what the deal is.
Come on down.
Oh, if you're new here, follow,
share, and subscribe. If we go big time, right, I 100% guarantee you now, we're going to get a lawsuit against us.
Even if we don't go big time, we're still going to get a lawsuit, aren't we?
We've unwrapped everything just to make it a little bit easier, but we'll just quickly go through everything we've had to order, and we'll say obviously whether it is available at Skunkworks or not, because that was the main obstacle we had when we were buying it. So the mudguard, that was what, $5.50?
Because it's carbon fibre.
And that's just for the actual mudguard and not the bracket, not the support. That's separate. That's 60 quid. It's about 520 quid plus that's without the VAT, so 20% on top of that as well.
Yeah.
Now, Skunkworks do sell a carbon mudguard and a stay. The stay is ever so slightly different. It actually is easier because it has this slit missing out of it, so you can put it on
and off
without taking loads of other stuff off the car. They do sell that, but we're not sure if these are identical.
Yes, because that's what we just had one damaged mudguard, didn't we?
So we didn't want to get a Skunkworks one because if it's slightly different, it doesn't match the others.
It's going to stick out,
isn't it? Skunkworks do sell steering wheels, and they do them in carbon fibre and all sorts of different things. But I believe this is actually cheaper than anything they sold on Skunkworks. So
it's £162.
Yeah, which I think the Skunkworks
£163 without the VAT.
Yeah, but I think the Skunkworks, like I say, they're pretty sure the carbon fibre. They do a few different ones, so I think that is cheaper than anything on Skunkworks. The upper arm from Skunkworks was 149 quid.
And this is 180 quid.
180 quid, but that's without VAT as well.
Yeah, Skunkworks is all with VAT, isn't it?
Yeah, so all Skunkworks prices have VAT. All Ariel, they have put the VAT on the bottom, so we'd have to work that out. But this does work out, I think, about £40 cheaper from Skunkworks. That's the same with the lower wishbone, which is 220, but that's without VAT. So, and it's 189 Skunkworks. They do work out ever so slightly cheaper, and we've also got the push rods from Skunkworks and Ariel. They're 50 quid from Skunkworks, and I think they're about 55 from Ariel without VAT.
Push.
Oh, 42.
Push rods, 42.
I think the push rods actually work out about the same. Yeah, when it all comes together. They do sell these, which are what hold the spoiler up.
Yeah, on the back there.
Well, we did ask for the ones with circles in from Atom, but they've sent the ones with triangles.
We're not. I think the ones with triangles would be fine.
It doesn't really matter.
No.
As long as they fit the same.
They're both from it's from Atom.
It's from Ariel, so.
And you probably find the reason that they've sent them is because these probably weren't in stock.
Yeah. I think there's actually 3 different types of these you can get. There's one with no holes in it whatsoever. Then these are obviously got the triangles, whatever, and these the circle ones.
I presume it's for lightweightness.
I presume so.
Yeah, it's still the weight out, isn't it?
But Skunkworks, the good thing about Skunkworks, they actually do carbon fibre replicas of all these different shapes.
I think that'd look cool.
Yeah, and obviously you can't get that from Ariel as far as I'm aware. They're all...
These were £140 for the pair without that.
Yeah.
So how much carbon ones?
Yeah,
I think the carbon ones start about $250 on Skunkworks.
Yeah,
so
but the carbon fibre.
more expensive. Obviously, if you want carbon everywhere, that's where you go. Skunkworks. They do the light surrounds, the rear wing guards.
Does Ariel not do the light surrounds?
Second, sorry.
Does Ariel not do the light surrounds or anything like that?
They do, but I don't think it's in carbon.
Right. Okay.
But Skunkworks do the light surrounds in carbon.
Yeah.
We've also had to buy a new rear light. Now, on Skunkworks, they sell all these parts individually. So the centre, the outer, the arm, and I think the cap is all a separate part.
Yeah.
So I didn't work it out, but I think this works out at probably about the same. And you get the new lead with it, which I'm not sure if you get with the Skunkworks.
The way Skunkworks has done it is a little bit better because we only needed, technically, the surround and the
bracket.
That light.
The arm and the outer light was broken out, but we just thought because that comes as one whole
just do the whole light.
Well, get the whole thing.
Because they sell it individually, you could just buy an individual part, which is a lot cheaper than buying a complete one.
I might be wrong, but I think Skunkworks also sell the rear cap as a carbon cap as well.
You don't want that.
So if you did want it,
It's getting a bit much now, isn't it?
A bit too carbony.
You've also got, you cannot get this from Skunkworks, it's the bell crank, which Stokes bent when he took the rear suspension, the shock
it's
off.
aluminium, it's very delicate.
So the other one, we probably could have salvaged if we really wanted to, but it had a load of dings and things, so we thought we'd buy that. But I think that's 150 quid.
That ain't bad, is it really?
Bell crank, 150 without that.
Yeah, bell crank
You only
150
get
without
that from
that.
Ariel anyway. And the last thing is...
It's the most expensive thing.
Yeah, the hub assembly, so it's everything, the hub, bearings, everything, all in one. I think that was...
It was £511.
Yeah, the mudguard's more expensive
No,
than
it's
yours.
not. The mudguard was £460.
Well, the mudguard with the stag. Yeah, this
It's
costs
about £1,000 with just the hub.
Just the hub,
and the
we spent
mudguard.
£5 on the hub and the carbon fibre mudguard.
Now, the only other thing that we haven't got, which we think are good, the track rod ends, we think they're all good in our stuff, so we're going to put them in anyway.
Yeah.
But you can get track rod ends from Ariel and you can get them from Skunkworks, so they're probably, I don't know if they're any cheaper on Skunkworks, but you can get them. And just to put it in a bit of perspective, we paid, I think, 25 quid delivery from Ariel for all these parts.
Come in one
Massive
box.
And it was about 3 or 4 days delivery. But I don't know if they put it on the next day or anything like that. But so 3 or 4 days, it's not.
We
long
ordered
time.
it on the Friday. He said it won't be processed till the Monday.
I don't know what you're talking about delivery.
Yeah, well,
Just 4 days, just say 4 days, about 4 days.
If they've got
Skunkworks, when we ordered from Skunkworks, it was £70, but it was next day.
But we had 5 parcels from Skunkworks, so that might be why it was so much expensive. But it was next day. So if you order before 1 PM, you get it next day. So you can't
That's good, that
complain.
is. I suppose, obviously, if it isn't in stock, it's going to vary with delivery time.
The other thing we wanted to do, just to sort of compare and contrast the parts from Ariel and Skunkworks, because some people we saw were kind of questioning the build quality and stuff like that, saying they didn't quite fit the same. So we bought all the suspension arms that we needed, we bought from Skunkworks and from Ariel, because they both obviously provided them. So what we've got here is each of the parts next to each other. Now, at a very, very first glance, they look almost identical. When you get a little bit closer, you can notice that these arms, the Skunkworks ones, they're thicker.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. That
You're not necessarily saying the metal's thicker, but
the actual tubing
is definitely wider, isn't it?
Now, looking at the finish, everything like that, obviously they're both powder coated, they both look bang on. They've put on the washers for the zip ties, for the brake lines and things like that. That all looks identical. Now, the one thing I will say is some of the welds on the Ariel stuff look
a little bit
better.
I think where they've done it here, they've shaped the pipe to it and then welded it where that I think
look
they've
a bit
putted.
cleaner. But I will say, just for Skunkworks credit, without obviously putting it on the car and using it physically, they claim that their arms are better. That's just the description underneath. It says they make them better than, I don't know what they're going off for that assessment. The push rods, to look at, they do look ever so slightly different, but they're essentially the same. They even look the same.
Like I said,
they're just
Ariel,
literally tiny bit different. Like that outer edge there, the weld is closer than say there,
because they've machined it.
yeah, no, look, they've done it like
To a point.
Yeah, like see how it goes round.
Now, I don't know if that's specifically for any particular reason or not. They might have just, it's just the way that
That's
they manufacture.
that's the only different in there.
Yeah, but that's a good identifier to show you what.
But
is
that
different.
isn't. I'd say they're both the same.
See, that's Ariel at the back with
Yes.
the machine point both ends, and that is just a rounded.
Yeah.
It's not a point at all. But they are, like Jack said, it's more or less identical.
Mate, they're all less identical. Them
Yeah.
ones are. I wouldn't say there were any thicker or anything.
These are the lower arms. Now, once again, the Skunkworks one is a thicker.
Yeah.
Tube.
And the only other difference is here. If you look, that part there.
So is that where the push rod connects?
Yes,
that
is
point?
different.
No, it's the hub.
That's where the hub,
bottom
yeah.
of the hub connects to there, and then
Yeah.
obviously this is the
That
atom
there,
part, and they
and
use
it's
like
different.
a washer.
Yeah,
around
they
it,
use like a
that's
washer.
rounded.
But
The gauge is thicker on the
Yeah.
Skunkworks one, so they've gone thicker rather than getting this little wash on.
and
the
you
end.
probably take a bit more of a hit, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think the conclusion we're going to come from this, and we'd already thought about this anyway, we knew they were going to be near identical. If you're an Atom purist, you're always going to go with Atom
Atom,
anyway.
yeah.
But if you need something quickly,
And they haven't
Or-
got an Atom, haven't got it in stock.
Yeah, or you're not bothered.
Or you're not bothered because you never get this is your track car and that is it. I would save yourself a couple of quid. It's not masses of money.
Well, we've got one more test to do, haven't we?
so
We've got to try the aerial part, and if that
in
fits
place.
sweet,
Yeah. Like, if you want to save yourself a couple of quid, don't get me wrong, it's not going to make you a millionaire saving.
But if you're
Because
changing
it's
all of
40
them,
quid.
if you're changing all your arms, for whatever reason, you've had a knock
Yeah.
all the way round,
It's
you'd
a couple of
probably
hundred
save
quid
400
then, isn't it?
500 quid
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a whole set. So it might be worth it, do you know what I mean? And look, not everyone's got a massive budget, so
Yeah.
these parts, without physically fitting them to the car, you'd never know them, really. And I'm almost certain no one else would ever know either whether
Yeah.
they were them. Without those little subtle differences between the
Without
two
having them
parts.
next to each other, we would never have we
You'd
would
never-
never have
you'd
gone,
never-
oh
you'd
yeah,
never
even
think of
because there's no way you can look in there,
No,
and find that and find the difference there.
So the last thing, which I know some aerial people probably hate us for, alloys we're putting back on it are Skunkworks alloys. They're the rotors. Now Skunkworks,
That's the only skunkwork part that we're going to use.
yeah, because it's such a weird fitment, and obviously the front and rear
I
wheels
think
are
they're
bigger.
95 by 4, which is a real strange
So to get a
PCB.
set in that kind of weird fitment with the fronts and backs being bigger size and things like that, it's easy just to go and get these ones from Skunkworks. Now Ariel do a budget set, which are the Team Dynamics ones. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
But
So-
personal preference, we've
Yeah.
all agreed that we like these better.
But the Team Dynamics ones are 650 plus VAT from Ariel. These are 600 all in. Well, you're going to pay a bit for postage on them, but they're 600, and we think they look better as well.
Yeah, I think they're a
Now,
nice looking wheel.
obviously, we did have magnesium wheels on this when we bought it. One's destroyed, one's dented, one's the face is damaged, and we've got one good alloy. So I know some of the Ariel people said, you know, you've got to replace it back with the
haven't.
mags,
You
but they're
haven't.
£5 for a set.
And you haven't got to do that
No.
because it's our car and it's our choice.
Yeah, so obviously the mags for the weight and things like that, if that's something that you need and it's important to you, go with the mags. They obviously also do a set of carbon fibre ones, which I think are £9,000. So if you want those,
From Ariel.
yeah, go and get a £9,000.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of the mags, the look of it.
They're not the nicest looking wheel.
We've already covered.
But that's personal
We've already
choice.
covered that it's our personal choice.
The other thing is as well, so
Oh,
Skunkworks do these alloys in I think 4 different colours. I think they do gold, gloss black, silver, and matte black. And we've gone for the matte black, which we think is
Satin.
really clean.
Just pop that centre cap out, Dave, and just whack that in just for a little look. I know these are very similar styles to like they're a 5-spoke style, but personally, we've seen a picture with these on the car, and they look in black. It looks unreal, doesn't it, Dave?
yeah.
The
He
centre
sold it to me because
Yeah.
I was against them at first because I said straight away, I'm not putting a cheap set of wheels on an Atom without actually seeing them on an Atom. Rich found a picture and I went order them.
Yeah, they do look really good.
But I think these compared to the Team Dynamics, I think these are 10 times better.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
Team Dynamics are just, they're a very common
There
wheel,
you go.
aren't
Look,
they?
mate, you
Yeah,
We'll have to get new centre.
New
caps.
centre caps.
But the other thing is, it's nice as well that you've got options. You don't have to just go to Ariel for your wheels.
And you can be different.
And the other thing is as well, some people, they might use their Ariel on the road, they might use it on the track, and they might want two different sets of alloys.
100%. You might run slicks or whatever.
So this is just a cheap alternative that looks good.
Yeah, I
do
think
you know what
they
I mean?
look
So
wicked.
I think that's always a bonus, isn't it?
You can see the size difference though. But like that's obviously the standard wheel. And then I think they look wicked.
Like I said,
I like the dish on them. I like the dish effects.
when you order these, if you order before 1 PM, you'll get them the next day.
Yeah.
And if you're in a rush, whatever, Skunk Works are the guys to do it, I think.
Because he's got like a setup with rotor. Because obviously these wheels aren't Skunk Works to make. The Rotor is the company. They make loads of wheels. He's got something set up with them.
They supply him the specific offset and all that kind of stuff and the size that he needs for an aerial setup.
Yeah.
Whereas you can put other wheels on an Atom, but you'd have to go around finding that specific size and everything.
Because some
to
people
fit.
go for the mud guard as well, which we'll say. There's two different widths in the rear mud guard.
Yeah.
Because some run a wider rear tyre.
Well, hopefully this is, if you were umming and ahhing, if you have got an Atom, you're umming and ahhing about whether you need to go to Ariel or Skunk Works.
Wow, let's go and try and fit one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the final test.
So we'll get into that
We'll do
now.
that.
I'm back. I'm in the picture, boys.
Oh, that lasted long. The best looking man in the best looking cameraman in the
swap?
universe.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should swap.
Yeah, he should swap. Let Jack explain.
Carry on.
Come on.
This is your fault.
Anyway, I have had to mess about. Like I said, we didn't have any good arms to put up. We only had the bent arm, so I have had to have only a little bit here and there, just tweak it to let the arm in. So this is the Ariel arm, which
You're being really aggressive with me today, you are.
So I literally just slot straight in, and as you can see, that goes straight in there, right? Skunk Works arm.
Get yourself round here, Jack.
Same, straight in, no problem. They're not like 10mm out or anything like that. As long as all the lengths are correct, it should be fine. But fitting into the actual brackets, exactly the same. Top arm that's Ariel, because you can tell it's thinner. That way round, and same again. Straight in there.
Straight out.
Straight out. Skunk Works, top arm. He says.
Skunk Works don't work.
It went in.
It's because you're doing it like a...
Like I said, if you go in at an angle, it makes it long. You've got to like go in like.
What does Jack like? Twinkies?
Twinkies a little American cake thing, is it?
Yeah, Twinkies.
But I can't personally see, there might be a point of a mil difference, but slotting in wise, see them all the same. And weight wise, I mean, we ain't got a set of scales, but I can't, you ever feel that?
Am I allowed to touch them now, yeah? Are you sure?
Obviously that is using a bigger tube. Would you say that, unless you put them on, you'd have to put them on some scales?
You definitely have to put them on a
But
scale.
there could be a bigger
mate,
tube with a thinner gauge.
there's no way.
You never
There's
know.
no
We're not
weights,
picking these up and you go, well, that one's heavier or that one's lighter.
The only reason we're going to go with the Ariel ones is because they match.
Yeah.
They match the other side.
I don't even know which one it is.
That's sticker one is Skunk Works and that's Ariel.
And we're
So-
also happy to pay that tiny little bit more. Like I say,
Yeah,
for
it's
what,
not a major big.
for what we've
It's
bought,
about 40 quid an arm, you say?
I think it works about 100. I think we would have saved about 100 odd quid, 150 quid,
which-
maybe something like that. So it's not major, but
No.
it could make the difference between getting
But
that
I
piece of
think-
carbon you want and not.
think-
The last thing we've done since the last episode is we've had
Nothing. We've done nothing, haven't we?
the drive shaft
Yes.
rebuilt.
Dave. That's Dave. I've sent Dave, and he.
basically, right,
last
yeah.
time I sent him somewhere. We won't go into that.
Off topic again.
Yeah, so the drive shaft from Ariel, I believe it was 500 odd quid.
600.
Was something like that for the drive shaft. All that happened in this is the end had popped out.
Well, I'm not. The two
And the
gators
gators
had
were
split.
yeah.
The two gators had split. It popped the thing. This had snapped off. The gator had split, and literally this just come out.
It pulled apart.
Everything was there. I took it there. The bloke
They've
put it
checked it
all,
all.
took all the things off, put it all back together, rechecked it all, and literally just rebuilt it. And
But nothing was bent on.
There was
it,
nothing.
the main
Yeah,
thing.
he's checked everything for me. He's put it on. Is it a lathe where you put it on to see if it catches? He's put it on the lathe. He's literally done everything to make sure this is perfect condition to go back on the car.
And this, rather than 500-600 quid, whatever it would have cost to replace it, £55.
Yeah.
And it was done in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
A big saving.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
So bonus all round, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Also, we've tracked 2 people down. A place in Derbyshire and a place in Leicestershire to sort the carbon out for us. The one bloke does work for Tom Hartley, and the other bloke
Just looks like he.
works.
Who's Tom Hardy again, Dave? 'Cause I don't know him.
He's the deal maker.
Okay.
The man of men that sell the supercars.
So he's into big stuff.
Oh yeah. And if he's happy to have work done by this bloke, we're happy to have work done. But we spoke to him, but we want to get a quote off this other bloke.
And this is for the carbon, isn't it?
This is for the carbon, but basically they've said, no problem. It's not even bad. So we've shaved there as well.
Hopefully. We haven't had a price yet.
Yeah.
But
If you've got a set of magnesium wheels that you've smashed up, let us know if you want to sell them. If you've got a set of wheels that are smashed up and you want to buy some, let us know.
These have had light use, one previous owner.
One careful of.
and the wheel that was good, Dave just dropped on its face, and now that's
Don't tell them that.
marked.
I'm going to volley you, I am. At
Well,
every opportunity.
He's completely ripped the set off. He's finished the set off, basically.
Every opportunity, you have to put me down. But do you know people like you? People like you is why I'm so strong. Haters like you. Right, so yeah, we're wrapping up now because it's getting colder. Stokes has got to go and sniff his missus' farts. Jack's got to go and finish an episode, and I'm gonna go and have beer.
Dave's going to be wicked because he's the best in the world.
In the wield. In the wield. In the wield.
I ain't talking anymore. Tell you what,
I'm not talking. Oh yeah, my granddad told me the other day.
Since obviously the last little bit we filmed, I spoke to Hamid, who owns Skunkworks. He's rang me up out of the blue. And we had a little chat about this, that, and the other. And we kind of come to an agreement because we're sending the Skunkworks arms back.
And the only reason we're sending them back is because they don't match the other side. If there was a perfect match, we would probably keep the Skunkworks.
Or if we was doing both the back.
Yeah, or if we were doing all the arms, then we would probably go with Skunkworks because you end up saving a couple of hundred quid, which is worth it, you know. But we're going to stay with Atom because it matches, so everything matches. Yeah. Plus, everybody's having meltdowns because apparently we're cowboy builders and backstreet garage cowboy, you know. So so we're going to make you a little bit happy by keeping
some Atom stuff on it.
Atom stuff originally.
We're sending the Skunkworks arms back rather than putting Hamid out of pocket or whatever for the price. We're going to swap them for the carbon light surrounds for the front,
which Ariel don't do, but he does.
And these are broke, so we thought we might as well just upgrade it to carbon fibre, give him a bit of cash. Good for us.
He's been all right, man. But the lad at Atom that we spoke to was more than helpful as well. So we're not saying, go to Skunkworks because they're better and he's more helpful. Everybody's been helpful so far. Like we can't knock anyone. All we can knock is the Atom forum for sending us message that they're watching in horror. That apparently our car's going to snap in half because.
He could do, but they're going to find out, aren't they?
The front end, we ain't even touched the front, and apparently the front end's going to cartwheel off.
But
I think that's everything. So like, share, follow, and subscribe.
What Dave said.
And hit the what?
And hit the bell.